Hello and welcome to Enfoque channel in one more crypto episode in English. I am Fausto Botelho, and here we use our experience in technical analysis and try to extract logical indication about the future behavior of the crypto prices. Nowadays, though, I am also talking a lot about the stock markets because I think there is a crash developing right in front of our eyes. I was saying so last week, and things evolved for in order that we had another very important indication. And what I want to tell you today is that I have changed my opinion on the behavior or maybe the forecast that I've been doing for Bitcoin, which is being bullish, at least for the short term. So basically, I've studied a lot of commodity charts, and I've re-studied a lot of these commodity charts and what occurred to them in the examples of crashes that we have in the near past. And I came to the conclusion that Bitcoin is probably going to be seen as a commodity in the first place. Is going to be played as if it is actually a commodity. It's also a coin, but it is a commodity, a scarce commodity. And with that, I think whenever the crash comes, and I'll show you what I think is the crash. I will describe you. I will show you what were the crashes that we had in the past. 1929, 2000, 2008, 1987, 1989. I'll show you what may happen with the markets. And also show you what happened with the most important commodities of the time, which were gold and oil. So let's hit the road and take a look at the charts, right? Here we go. Well, first, I wanted to tell you that I'm very pleased that our channel has reached 10,000 subscribers. We're now 10,362 subscribers. And for that, I thank you very much for your support. That's it. To commemorate that, I am going to be giving away a Trezor. Here it is. I already bought it, and I will draw it next week. So if you're feeling lucky, please fill the form in the description below with your name, email, and telephone, so we can contact you if you win it, okay? So, back to the charts. Now, last week we were here. We were here, and the market gave us a very important indication, actually yesterday, which was the breaking of this support line that comes from March 2009 in the bottom right after the subprime crisis. So we broke the support line. This resembles even more a double top. Now the market has to come to these support levels at 2,580, 2,600, and it has to test these levels, and eventually breaking this level, it will go forward, and it's probably going to fall very fast, as I showed you in the last video, towards the 0.38 correction, which would mean that the market would fall another 35%, which would also mean that the world would lose a third of its richness, which would mean that we would probably enter a recession period. Now, this is happening in the S&P. Let me show you again. And let me show you what's happening with today's candle. We closed, so far we closed, the S&P closed at 2705. But if we go to the intraday chart, which is the 24/7 intraday chart, we'll see that the market is now 2679. So if we come here to the daily chart, 2679, we would be 2679 would be in the lows of today's candle. So it's happening. It's happening. We flagged it down as I thought we would, and we broke the flag. We broke the resistance, the support line, and that's it. Why do I think it's going to be a crash and not a simple downward market? Because I know that this was pumped by quantitative easings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know how many of them, right? Because I know that this time the United States owns $21 trillion. And because I know that interest rates are supposed to go up. I'm going to be showing you the charts of the interest rates. Now, just confirming what we've seen in the S&P chart, the Dow Jones chart. This is the Dow Jones chart indexed since 1913, which is when CPI was first calculated. So we've also had probably a double top here. We're probably looking at a double top. The market also flagged it down. It's coming down. So it's confirming the indication that we have in the S&P, right? Also, what is it? Yeah. Let's go to the Nasdaq here. On the Nasdaq, we've broken this line, which is a shorter term line than the one starting in 2008 as the one in Bitcoin in the S&P that has been broken. But you see it starts in February 2016 or maybe June 2016. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 points touching the line, and now it's clearly broken. Market recover a little bit, but as we've seen in the S&P, it's probably going down. I don't think there's going to be any refresh here. The market is just passing by and breaking these support levels. But that's not happening only in the US. I'm going to the world indicators here, where we can see that Dow Jones Transportation also broke a very important support line. The utilities were going up, but today they felt reverting these with a dark cloud formation in the candlestick chart. The Dow Jones Global Average also felt this, broke this very important support line. VIX is going to the highs, is testing this resistance level. Now this is very important. The Treasury bonds, 10-year Treasury bonds, see, broke this very important resistance line. That has happened already some time ago, at the beginning of October. And now they came back, did what I think is a pullback to the former resistance line, which is now offering support, closed on the highs today. So I think that's probably showing us that that was only a pullback and the market is really going up. And I foresee and I forecast, I project an objective of between 7 and 8%. So thinking that every single unit that the market oscillates here means another $210 billion plus that the United States will have to pay only for interest rates. You see that things are getting ugly, right? Now, the Nikkei also is falling like a bag of potatoes out of a window, right? Broke very important support. Let's see what happens tonight. And China has already broken all supports and it's on a downward trend. Let's see what happens this night as well. Recovered a little bit yesterday, but with the S&P falling now, it's probably going down again. Also, Hong Kong also is gapping down, opening gaps down and breaking these very important support over here. See, let me show you in the long term. It goes up towards the left side of the chart here since 2010. So this is a borderline, very important support line that was broken in Hong Kong. And in South Korea, look what happened. So the world is crashing down. Now, I've told you guys that how bullish I was in Bitcoin, right? And about the possibility for the flight for quality that is going to happen, that always happens in these occasions, would diverge some of the money of the stock markets into the crypto markets. And that could be huge because the New York Stock Exchange market cap by itself, it's $23 trillion. So 1% out of New York Stock Exchange diverging into cryptos would just double market cap of cryptos. If you imagine that this money would land in crypto safe lands. But my friends, I have reviewed, as I said in the beginning, I have reviewed my thinking about what should happen to cryptos in the first place. And for that, I have taken a look at what happened in gold, for instance, and oil, for instance, to use the last crisis that we had. I've used the subprime crisis, and there you can see that in the first place, gold and oil have experienced severe drops in the beginning. Then, so at the beginning they were considered as commodities, and commodities fall because everything falls whenever the market falls in a crash. Everything falls with it. Afterwards, people start asset picking in terms of storage of value for their money, and then eventually they will land in gold, oil, and cryptos. But in the beginning, I think there's a big possibility that cryptos get into the downward wave. And we have a problem with cryptos because Bitcoin is very close to $6,000, and $6,000 is a very important support line. So in the beginning, so eventually that could be the catalyzer, if there is such word. Sorry if there isn't, but would be sort of like the trigger. So this crash could be the trigger for Bitcoin to break the 6,000 support level. And if that support is broken, how low could Bitcoin go? Then we would have to consider the triangle, the descending triangle, or the accumulation, and we would project the height of that accumulation downwards. It could go as low as 3,000. Could fall as much as 50%. I don't know, maybe. So afterwards, so what I'm basically saying is that I came to the conclusion that eventually what I think is wave 4 of wave 5 of the big bull market of Bitcoin may not be finished and may take another weeks, may take some other weeks maybe, because that happens very fast. Let me show you what happened in other times on the stock market for you to have an idea about what could happen. Here we go. I'm going to be showing you the chart of the Dow, which is the chart I have since 2013. I'm going to show you here. Put this on the weekly chart. And here we go. Another thing that should be considered is that I'm back to the daily chart in the Dow Jones, and we're 1918. What the hell is that? What have I done here? Yeah, here we go. We're 1929 here, okay? And so another thing that I want to tell you is that we have to realize that we are in October, and out of the 4 crashes that we had in the market so far in the past, 3 of them happened in October, like this one here. We're in October 23, 1929. Okay, so in October 23, no, we're in October 22. Then in October 23, the market in 1, 2, 3, 4 days falls. Oh, what was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. It falls 38.9% and closes 29.5% below the last close. The close the first day. Okay. So it's oscillations like that that make people say that a crash has happened. That was in 29. Now we come to the crash of 87. The crash of 87 was even more dramatic than 29, because in 1, 2, 3, 4 days, the market felt 33.1%. But in only 2 days, in only 1 day, the market felt from close to close 22.6%. And that also had happened in October. We were 19th of October. The exchange doesn't like October very much. Then we had another crash in 89. Here's the crash of 89. Where are you? Here you go. Here we go. In 89, it was also huge, because market felt 10.8%. In 1 day, it felt in 1 day. That was actually a mini crash, because the market recovered 6.9%. And then, of course, we had the subprime. We had 9/11. Let me show you 9/11 here. 9/11. Everybody know what happened in 9/11? The market fell 19% in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days. Actually, we were in September, right? 9/11. But then we had the subprime. And in the subprime, no, I'm missing 2000. We didn't have a crash in 2000. It started to fall in January, and then it came coming down until 2002, where it reversed in October. Now it reversed in October. But then we had the subprime. Let me show you subprime. In the subprime in October, the market felt in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, the market fell 27.4%, closed 22 point something percent. So that's what may happen to the market from now on. I'm expecting something similar to that to happen. Okay, that's in the Dow, and that's in the S&P. The S&P is the guy that rules the world because it's the most important index. He's the one for which there is a future contract, which is one of the most liquid contracts in the world. And this is giving us very important indications as I showed you. So in the first time, I think now Bitcoin might, and let's take a look at Bitcoin and the cryptos now. Here we go. Here we go. I have to remember you that we must realize that I understand that we are in wave 4 of wave 5 of this big bull run that pretends to take Bitcoin out of nothing into its real value. So far we've had wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and we're in wave 5 now, within wave 4 of wave 5. We'll eventually have to rearrange these support line here, or maybe we will just pass this support line by here, or by I don't know. But let's forget these with a support line and think about what may happen. Maybe the market could fall to something like this here. Could do something like oof, or maybe some more, and then boom. That's what I think might happen. Maybe the market can fall even more to 3,000. Where's the support? We're going to have support at 5,000, and then we're going to have support over here. See? And over here, we're talking about 3,000. That's it. Here's the daily chart. So the risk is first to break the support line here. We wouldn't even have to go to 6,000. Breaking the support line would signal the market that probably this is a continuation pattern, and the market would fall. Adding up the possible crash in the stocks, where everybody's going to be selling everything, because one thing I didn't mention, which I think is very important, is the fact that the first thing that happens when a crash comes is boom, credit disappear. Citibank doesn't loan to JP Morgan. JP Morgan doesn't loan to the government or to the real estate agencies, and so on. And so nobody gets credit anymore. Money runs out of the market, and as Warren Buffett, I think, said, it's when the tide goes down that you see who's swimming naked. So it's when things get bad that you see who's had a financial a strong financial situation and a weak financial situation, right? So that's for Bitcoin. So what to do? Well, I think, as there's a lot of talks about Tether, I think one could look into another crypto stable coin, which is TrueUSD, traded in Binance. It doesn't have the liquidity that Tether has, but I was seeing today, I think, and the volume was around $5 million. Whether Tether is at about $80 million, the 24-hour volume daily. or Tether if you think you can trust the coin, right? Or you could go to dollars if you're trading an American exchange that accepts trading in dollars. You go to dollar, wait for the market to go down. But now, whether you should do it now or wait, I think that if I'm right, you're going to do a very good business, very, very good trading, right? And I might be wrong because the thing is that there's no book, there's no by the book for this situation because the market never, the stock market never crashed having a new class of assets, the crypto assets. That has never happened. So yes, I think it's going to be a safe haven for people to put their money in hard times, the cryptos. But as I said, at the beginning, there's going to be panic. There's probably going to be some panic, some fear. People will have to sell and sell and sell because these bear markets, they self-feed themselves, you know, because like, for instance, the people managing funds, stock funds, they have to sell because people start to withdraw their money from the fund. So the fund has to sell stocks in order to pay the requests for money, for fiat money. So it's a self-feeding situation. People sell. Whenever they sell, the market falls even more. When the market falls even more people think about withdrawing their money from the funds, and then the fund has to sell more, and it's a snowball. So that scares a lot of people. Credit disappears, I said, and I think it's going to be hard for Bitcoin to escape a first situation in which the media is going to be telling all the world that trillions of dollars have been lost. This is very scary. I've been in most of these. It's been 9 years. I remember well watching TV and seeing some people in China saying they were going back to their homelands because in the cities there were no work anymore for them. You know, that was very scary for a lot of people. Scary for them to eventually lose their jobs and things like that. Right? I don't think Bitcoin the crypto space is going to escape that. So I think it's prudent for you to get out of the market now and watch, see what happens. And then, of course, that's the time when you have to work, when you have to spend time in your investments, in your speculation, and eventually be prepared to jump in again. And so that's what I think one should think about very seriously. So now let me just show you that so far we have in our calls maintained Monero that we recommended the last over here, because Monero made this double bottom here, and now we think it's doing a rectangle, and it's probably going to the upper part of the rectangle, even though we've raised already two times the stop, and we're very close to our entry price now. We've also recommended Stellar, but I'm not liking very much this situation. Although it resembles an upward flag here, we've moved the stop once, and we're keeping an eye on that. We've also recommended Zcash because Zcash gave us a reversal over here in these very important, the all-time low support level. So we recommended it, and the objective is 0.024. We are also keeping an eye in these cryptos here, which are the Bitcoin Cash, that where we think the market is testing the important support level, and it's doing a sort of a flag. it was a drift and it's becoming a flag. So it would be too short Bitcoin Cash. And we, of course, keeping an eye on Bitcoin, which we talked already. BitShares, we see this as a flag, a test of the support with a flag, with downward flag. So we're keeping an eye to a possible short recommendation. Decred, we think it's flagging up, so we're keeping an eye on it too. EOS, we think because of the appearance of a downward flag over here, and we're considering that to be a continuation accumulation, a wedge or a symmetrical triangle. So we think that is going down, keeping an eye for a short recommendation as well. Ethereum is flagging down, short, probably short recommendation. And NEO also broke already this triangle, this symmetrical triangle. We think it's flagging down, testing the support of the triangle. So we think it's probably going to test its all-time low at 0.002. Quantum, we're keeping an eye because we think this is an upward flag. And finally, Verge, which we think it's on a wedge, probably continuating the downward trend. And finally, 0x, which we think it's probably doing a upward flag here. And also Silica, I forgot, lots of Z's, which already broke this small short-term support line and is flagging down. So as you see, there's a lot of cryptos, a lot of coins, altcoins that are showing that might go down. So that reinforces the idea that Bitcoin might go down before going up. So that's it, my friends. If you liked what you've seen, please subscribe to the channel. Share in your socials, and give us a thumbs up, because that helps YouTube rank us better. And I'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching the video until now.